What's up, everybody? Welcome to NWA Nurses with Attitude. Leanne and I want to throw a quick shout out to the listeners. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support episode after episode, and we hope you guys enjoy this content as much as we love making it. If you guys want, go check us out on our social, Nurses with Attitude on Instagram. That's where you'll find all the updates you need, and also shoot us a message if you want. Enjoy the episode, guys.
There we go.
Successful.
Hello.
Wow.
Hello.
Oh my Lord.
As if it took us that long to figure it out.
This
I
listen.
literally just noticed when I was pressing X to hang up again. I was like, wait a second, it doesn't show your face. Like usually it says Leanne is connected.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had a feeling because I was logged in while posting on YouTube. So, oh man.
Okay, so for you people listening that don't know what just happened, we've been trying to it felt like an hour, but I only feel like it was like 10 minutes, but it felt like a very long time. We were trying to come and log on and we couldn't figure it out. And Leanne and I have no skills in the technology department. And I could hear her, but she couldn't hear me. So we were like unplugging our phones, we're restarting our devices. Nothing was working. Ben wasn't home. I don't know where the hell he is. He's not home. And
It's working.
we were struggling, when we needed him. Nowhere to be found.
We need
That's
the
fine.
techie. It's fine. We
Right?
got it. Here we are.
But we got
We're
it.
live.
We figured it out. We are live. How's everyone doing, Leanne? How are you? You good?
Good. Just a quick disclaimer. If we can hear toys squeaking in the background, snorts, we have a puppy in the house. So take it or leave
Or I'm just playing with my toys.
it. Joe, I heard you started a new job. Tell me about this job.
Yeah, I started a new job at a long-term care home here in Saskatoon. And
Yeah.
man, it feels so good to be back in long-term
Really,
care. But you know what, Leanne? I also forgot how busy it is. Like long-term care is busy. I don't care what people say. Like it's honestly, I've worked in multiple settings and I will say I think long-term care is probably the most exerting.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's constant go, go, go all day long.
All day. Like you have, and this home seems like it's a little more I don't want to say like acute, but it just for some reason it seems busier. Maybe it's because I was so used to my old rotation at my old home that because eventually you start getting into like the routine of things and things just start coming naturally. But
Yeah.
I'm getting trained and it's busy. Like we were on our feet the whole entire shift. The only time that we really sat down was at our 30-minute break. And yeah, you get in, you do report. If it's a morning shift, you start your med pass right away. You do your med pass, then you have to do like dressing changes, then catheters and in and out catheters, bladder scans, and it's constant. And then care plans, and it kind of makes you think like when do you get a chance to look at a care plan? Because
Well,
it's like you're constantly like doing stuff that you don't have a chance to like sit down and like actually you know do your MDSs and do your care plan and call the family and stuff. So
right. And well, like you say, Joe, the more that you work on the unit and you get to know the residents, like the care plans come so naturally at a certain point where you just know them and you can kind of take half an hour to just quickly like review a care plan, and then you could just kind of slap one together because you already know the residents. But right now, like you say, because you're just starting, you're just training, like you don't really know these people. You have an
exactly.
idea of like their care needs maybe, but that takes time. It takes a lot of time to get used to 40 plus residents. How many residents are on your unit?
So I actually have 2 units, so 80
Okay.
residents.
Oh wow.
So it's like the way that they do it. It's actually this home is super cool. Honestly, this home is amazing. And I'd like when if you ever come to Saskatoon, which I doubt it, but if you do, I would love to give you a tour of this home because um, they use this philosophy called the Eden philosophy, and essentially what it is there's like three main areas, and there's loneliness, boredom, and another one that I'm forgetting, but essentially these three aspects of a human that people lose when they go into long-term care homes. So
Okay.
essentially, like when we did our orientation, they hammered it into us that like this is their home. Um, the only dress code there is that there's no scrub.
Really?
People will be like, yeah, there's no dress code, and they're like, no, there is a dress code. It's no scrubs. Like that is the dress code. Like
Huh.
absolutely no scrubs. Like they will send you home if you walk in there with like scrubs and stuff, or like a lab coat and stuff. Like
So
they're
do
very,
you
very firm
so do
on
you
that.
wear, I would assume you wear a name tag, but do you bring a change of clothes then? Like how does that work?
Honestly, I just change when I get home. So I go there and then I come home and I kind of just change and stuff.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we just wear like normal clothes, and so they have cats on the unit. That's something that's also new. They have
Right.
cats
You
that
you sent me
live
a
there.
Snapchat and you're like, "This is the best job."
Yeah.
I'm like, "So sick." Do you have
Okay,
to take care of
every
the cats? Fill me in. I want all the details.
so the CCAs take care of the cats, but essentially what it is, like I don't even know where their like litter box is. And by the way, CCAs are community care associates or something like that. Or care aides. Um, which is the same as PSW. But yeah, I don't know where the cat's litter is, but there's like cat beds like throughout the unit.
Okay.
And they just have like food, so you fill up their food like once a day, and they just like eat like whenever they want, I guess.
Yeah.
And they just chill, and I laugh every single time I go in the hallway to go do something and I see the cat chilling there. I laugh because it's the funniest thing for me just to see a cat chilling in this home.
Well, I mean,
But it's
it's
so
really
cool.
out of the ordinary, honestly, to have animals. So it's funny that you say that it's weird to see cats, Joe, because at one of the sites, and I don't know if you used to live up northern Edmonton area, and so at a site in Morinville, they actually have a petting zoo that comes around in the summer for the residents, and the petting zoo is like kept in the courtyard, and the maintenance men like take care of the animals or whatever. And I think they have a couple goats, a sheep, I don't know. They gave me the lowdown at the time when I was there, but I thought that was so random. But to have cats is a bit more practical because they're a bit more friendly. I don't know, and
And
they're
like
they're easy to care
they're
for.
really low maintenance, yeah. And something that was super cool, like at this home, they build on like relationships, so like relationships between like the staff and the residents. But they also said like, having animal programs where they come once a week is great, but they want to cater like relationships, and you can have a relationship with an animal, right? So that's why they encourage people to live with their animals, and they've had residents in the past who brought their dogs to live there with them too. And they said it poses a little bit of a challenge because dogs aren't as easy, but they
Yeah.
always make it work. Like they go to make sure that they can have like an extension of their life, you know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah.
going in and then being cut off from community and like, like their norm, they try their best to kind of cater to that. And I thought it was super cool. And the staff during the week as well, they bring in their dogs as well. So like there's a full-time cleaner on the neighborhood that I work on, and she has this huge Rottweiler named Sherman, and he comes in every single day, and all the residents love him. Like he just chills out with us all
Really?
day. Yeah, just this huge Rottweiler walking around on the unit like it's nobody's business.
I'm surprised by that because I found in the past that when they'd have therapy dogs or whatever come through long-term care homes, a lot of the residents um, are afraid of the bigger dogs, especially a Rottweiler.
Yeah, oh yeah, right. I do you know what the thing is though? He was there since he was a pup. Like he was there like 5 days out of the week since he was a puppy. So I feel like a lot of them know him, and like whenever his owner is not around, he's like put a like whenever she's cleaning and stuff. Sometimes like she'll have him like around her like waist.
Yeah.
But
I
I
guess,
haven't seen that yet. Like that someone's actually like scared of him. But I could definitely see because when I first saw Rottweiler, I was kind of like, I feel like anyone when you see like a bigger dog, you kind of have caution when you, and if you don't, you should, right? Because
well, any dog, honestly. Like, I took Bodhi for a walk around the block, Joe, and he's 10 pounds. Like, he's a tiny dog. And the little kids were playing on the street and they were so polite. They came up and they said, "Can we can we pet your dog? And they would stay at a distance. And I'm like, oh, yeah, come on over, and I made them sit and whatever. But it's so good to see people
That's
teaching their
cute.
kids the safety about, animals in general. Like you say, like these bigger dogs. Um, my father in law actually was attacked by a dog in his younger years. And, you know, a lot of the time the animal's just afraid. And so, you got to think like when you're a much taller human than this dog, typically, unless it's like a Great Dane or something, then that's a different story. But when you're reaching over something, they would be
Yeah.
intimidated, just like a resident. You were walking up to someone in a wheelchair sitting there, and you were just, oh, yeah, 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 talking to them like over them
Yeah,
without getting down to their level. That's intimidating, And so I can
for
see why
sure.
a lot of dogs, dog bites and, animal just in general, I can see why they react the way that they do. But, I think it's good socially. Like you say, these residents, yeah, the animal therapy is so awesome. And I guess like the residents that don't love the animals would just sort of stay in the room or whatever. But, I think that's obviously something they disclose before a resident moves in as well, right?
Yeah, that's something that they do disclose that there's animals, and they said that sometimes they have like a little bit of like, it's uneasy, but there was this one story that they told me. I thought it was the cutest thing is that this elderly man came into the long-term care home, and he was living there, and I guess he doesn't have that much family or whatever. And one of the cats randomly one night just came up and jumped on him as he was going to sleep, and the cat slept with him all night. And fast forward a year, he tells everyone that his best friend is that cat, and the
Aw.
cat's always with him. Like she just jumps on his lap, like random, like at mealtime or like whatever. He's just hanging out, and she'll like sleep with him at night too. So she kind of found like a home, and he found a friend, right?
Yeah.
Um, and for those people who don't have a lot of contact, right? Like a lot of family and like support. That's just like
Mhm.
the cutest thing ever, right? And it's
Yeah.
like a relationship, and that's where I don't know if you've heard this, but I've heard it. I've seen it too. I've known people who once they retire, they die like 6 months after, like they retire from their job.
Well,
I
they have
had
no
this one
drive.
guy.
They have nothing that's sort of
Yeah,
keeping them busy. They have nothing to look forward to. I can see why that
there's no
happens.
relationship. Yeah, right. And like a job is a relationship too, if you think about it, because it's something that you can put into, right? And that's
Mhm.
what a relationship is. It's like a mutual a mutual bond where you can put into something and get something and like receive, right?
Right.
And a job is 100% a relationship, right? And I remember this guy when I worked at Walmart, he was taking care of his wife full time, and his wife had passed. So then he had went back to the workforce, and he was like 78. Okay, like
That's
he was
old.
getting there, double knee surgery, and he was
Oh
a
my
maintenance guy,
god.
overnight maintenance guy at Walmart, and he was a really cool guy, and met him when I was quite young. I was like 18. And he was a great guy, and like just like one of those hard workers, and but he could barely walk. Like he he went until he could not go anymore, and he had
Aw.
retired, and we had heard, I think it was just 3 months after he had passed away. um so it's amazing when people, when they go into a home, if we can cater to that, we can cater to, this is your life, sure,
Right.
it's the ender and the latter part of your life, but it doesn't mean that you should stop living. And that's the whole philosophy here. And you see it, like, Leanne, it is so chill. It is so chill. Oh, and also the PSWs do all the medications, so we only do like PRNs and like the narcotics.
What? I
Yeah,
was gonna
so
say
for
for
me
80
it's really weird.
residents, that's a lot.
Sorry, I totally got sidetracked. I was gonna explain what it is that the home, it's RNs on every unit. So every neighborhood has an RN, and on the busier neighborhoods they have LPNs. So there's only two LPNs in the whole building per shift. One on Kinsman is one area, and then one on third and fourth. And
Wow.
what it is that we spend, during a day shift, we spend the first 4 hours on fourth, and then the last half of the shift on third.
Okay.
So that's
Sorry,
like
my
we
dog
kind
is
of
going
switch.
nuts.
Yeah, we hear that.
Ugh. This is just gonna be the
Leanne is
life of
still living.
podcasting next. So
Leanne is living
we're just gonna have to deal with
with a
it.
child, a doggy child.
That needs constant attention. Like I'm just sitting here and he's literally just yipping at me.
He wants attention. He wants love.
I can't listen. I can't do that right now.
And Bodhi, what do you think
Buddy.
about these long-term care homes?
Oh gosh.
What
Yo,
a
he would
cutie.
love it. Honestly, like if I brought him into a senior's home or anything of the sort, he would just go wild. He loves people.
It'd be so cute. And he's a perfect dog because he's so small.
Right. The only thing is that he's teething, and so like everything goes in his mouth. And like listen to him.
Do you think he's barking because he's in pain? Like because he's
No,
teething?
no. He's barking because I'm not paying attention to him. So anytime I pull out my phone, he's barking. Yeah. He's found
Holy
his
cow.
voice.
That's
He needs
crazy.
constant attention. Like I don't know if this episode's going to be usable depending on how loud he sounds, but this is all day. I'm like trying to take work calls and I have to put him in the crate and like go into the basement so that he's not barking at me, because if I ignore him, he doesn't leave me alone. Yeah. Oh,
That's the life of a dog, man.
sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Guys, Leanne kind of got mad at me the other day because I sent her a video, and to me, all the bulldogs in the world look the same, but there's a difference. And it was so funny because I sent Leanne this video of these, what were they? Were they English bulldogs?
Yeah. Which are just as cute, by the way. Love them.
It was so funny. I sent a video of English bulldogs because she has a French bulldog, and to me, they look the same. And she was like,
no, they don't. They don't look the same.
So cute. And then she was like, ... Those are English bulldogs.
Jeez, Joe, know your flat-faced dogs.
Right. I just see like race or English, French. I just see the cuteness. So
that's so funny. They're like totally different. If you had them side by
are
side, you
they?
could totally tell. Oh yeah. English bulldogs are a lot bigger and stockier. French bulldogs, their ears stand straight up. They look kind of like a Boston Terrier, kind of.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm not very familiar in that world of puppies.
I think in the last episode, Joe, the Tim Hortons episode, we talked about. I mentioned briefly, like the stress that having a puppy causes, like the adjustment period. It's the same as having kids, and I must say that we've gotten over that. But because I work from home, I'm like constantly with him, and so I try to take time away throughout the day to not be with him, obviously, because I can't be here all the time, and I'm not. I have to go out and do marketing, things like that, see clients and stuff. But I'm trying to get him to be a bit more independent. But the breed is quite
needy.
They're needy. Yeah, they're needy. They love attention. They want to be with their owner. Like if I could have him sitting on my lap right now, I would. But then everyone would just hear snorting. So yeah.
Aww.
So it just kind of is what it is for now until he can learn to like not yip in the background. But anyway, back to this long-term care facility. This place sounds absolutely amazing.
Oh, it's
like
great.
This must be just like such culture shock, honestly, coming from up north down to a facility that's very like holistic care approach based. This is something
just even coming from like within like Canada, like working in other homes too, like
right. I was gonna say this is
see.
something that like I always thought that the long-term care home that I worked at did pretty well. Like we had a lot of resources, and so that made my job a lot easier. But then there were other homes, like retirement homes that I worked at, where you're the only resource and the doctor. And so that made things definitely a lot more challenging. But this place sounds great. Like, holy smokes, congrats.
Oh, it's
what an
amazing.
awesome position.
Yeah, they do so much. I'm just so happy to be back in like long-term care. It's definitely my bread and butter.
Yeah. You can tell that you have like a joyfulness to you now.
Honestly, Leanne, but it's so funny because we were like doing my orientation, and this is a story of my life, and I just don't care anymore.
if I see someone and I make eye contact with someone, especially a resident, I will stop everything I'm doing and go talk to that person. And I could like people won't get annoyed, but like my person orientated me would just start walking away. They were just like whatever, and they started walking away because I love talking to people. And imagine like someone's walking in your home and they don't know who you are, you
Yeah.
know. So you
I
go
think
in
you
and introduce themselves,
I
you
think
know.
you're a good nurse. Don't get me wrong when I say this, but I think you would do very well as a social worker.
Honestly, a lot of people have told me that. A lot of people have said that to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah. I think that
which is funny
you
because I was in the social worker program when
were
I
you?
got out of high school. Yeah,
And what was that like? Did you enjoy it?
honestly, I got in and then I just never showed up. So
Oh man.
I've no idea. Like
You
I
probably would have done so well in that. I mean, like
yeah,
that's
I get
essentially
that
what you're
comment
doing.
all the time. All the time, people are like, "Wow, like you'd be such a good social worker." Which you know, what I like about nursing is that you actually do kind of get aspects of social work. Like you're able to kind of because we do work with the family, we do work with, and we work with like social workers as well. So, but
I
yeah,
bet that I feel like nursing is very like all encompassing, whereas like social work, it okay, don't take me the wrong way when I say this, anybody listening, but like probably an easier profession. What do you think? Do you agree? Disagree?
I think it depends on what kind of worker you are, you know, and like
Yeah, I guess.
you
But
know,
like I'm a hustler. Like I'm like a type A, let's get shit done. Like I want to make sure the care plans are done, like the meds
but
have to
not
be
all
right, the
nurses are
med
like
cart
that
has to be
though.
organized. Like yeah, but I know, and
Uh,
that's the problem.
you know what I'm
It's a
saying?
problem.
Oh, for sure, 100%. Like there's so much um var- variability in the workers that you get, which is why it's great when you have an employer that really like kind of pushes down, has a lot of standardized processes and make sure that everyone's aware of those. Like for example, for me it's courtesy. I'm always the next nurse coming on is always going to have a full jug of water. She's going to have like pudding, her spoons are going to be full, she's going to have everything that she needs, is going
Yeah.
to be a clean nursing station, but that's not always the case.
We always did
it
that
it
for
depends,
our oncoming.
right? But I've learned that it depends on who you get because some people just don't like. And like hey, some days it gets busy and like you know
Yeah.
you're just like you know, but I'm talking about like there's some people that just never do it. um and
Yeah.
that just comes down to like work ethic, right? Like there's some people who take that extra mile to go do the care plans or even go spend like 10-15 minutes with like residents or their patients. And there's some people that just don't, they rather take that 15 minutes as like an extra break. um
Yeah.
it depends, and I think it's the same with social workers. I've had relatively good experience with social workers actually. Like where I used to work, they were really good. um but the social work, it's difficult because they don't have a standardized role in long-term care homes. I find like it's kind
Yeah.
of like they throw the social workers in, and if you have a good social worker, they will go and like push their boundaries and push their limits and make it known that they're there. But if they're not like that as an individual, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
then you just can get one that's in their office all day and doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
For nurses, it's a little less like that because we have actual things that we have to do. Like you have to give your medications. If you don't, you'll
Right.
get in a lot of trouble.
I wonder, just out of curiosity, like I wonder if there's some sort of bridging to social work or what the pay difference is. Like I'd be really interested in doing like a comparison between the two positions because I feel like I said, like nursing is all encompassing, we're very hands-on, that sort of thing, but a lot of our job is also that social support side.
Hmm.
Not only for clients but also for the families. And so yeah, I wonder
I
what the
actually
difference is in terms
I
of like
looked I
position
looked into
differences.
getting my master's in social work after I do my RN.
Oh yeah.
Master's in social work, and then I could like get a PhD. But I think I might go the nurse practitioner route.
Really?
Yeah, and honestly, that's why the pay isn't like if you go like if you get like a master's in like social work versus like a master's to get like your nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
um the pay is like substantially different. Like,
My sister-in-law is doing her master's in social work right now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And for her, it opened a lot more doors, but she's not a nurse. So she actually went in for, I don't know what the proper terminology is. It's like criminal justice something. She wanted to be
Okay.
like the CSI person.
ooh,
Is
oh,
how
like
she's explained it.
You just want to be like a read on
Yeah,
Criminal Minds, like kind of like a
right.
behavioral analysis,
Yes. And so her
like a
sort of,
psychologist.
yeah, so throughout her schooling, she's sort of taken a turn and now she's gotten into social work and she's doing her master's in social work. And I thought that that was like such a good move on her part, because it opens so many more doors for her. But this is someone who doesn't have like a nursing education prior to that. Like she had she would have graduated with a bachelor's of whatever and now going to do her master's kind of thing. But
Yep.
I guess as a nurse, there's different pathways we could take, like you say, to be a practitioner, or I guess you could go into social work. I wonder, maybe social work is something that I don't know that tickles my fancy. I don't know. This RN program's fucking killing me, man.
Honestly, I get like that too. I'm like, man, do I really want to do my master's? But you got to tell yourself, like, we're still so young. And at the end of the day, like, for me, it's not even about money. It's about like where I want to be the rest of my life, you know? And I'm definitely like
Yeah.
not just a worker. Like, I can't just be a worker. Like, I joined this place, like, literally on my first shift, I'm already part of a committee. Like,
Of course you are.
I can't just be a worker, Leanne. Like, it's not
Oh
my
my
fancy, bro. Like, I
god.
literally, like, my first day, and I'm like,
Such a keener.
I'm on the palliative care committee, yo. Mm-mm.
Well, that's exciting. I'm down for palliative care, but yo, you're such a
sick.
keener. Oh my god, you're
I
so
am a keener
funny.
when
Holy
it comes to
fuck.
like nursing.
Yeah,
Oh, big time.
that's
But you
so
know what,
funny.
man? Hey, I rock it. Like,
Honestly, like
I take it serious.
it's more skills under your belt. It's it'll better you in the future, like for whatever you choose to do. And you know, I wish that more people were like you, honestly, but dude, like I just don't find myself in that boat anymore. Like at one point when I worked in Ottawa, like I was, yeah, a part of this team and helped with this and knew the head management and like got a grant for school and like I was that gal, like I want to use every resource I can. And now like I hate to admit it, but I like my position. I like where I'm at. And I'm finding that I just don't have that drive to continue anymore. Like
And
I
there's nothing
booked,
wrong with that
it's
at
just
all.
this bio is killing me. I'm still in it. I have an exam April 16th that I haven't even studied for. I can't study because I have a puppy here all day. Like I don't even know how I'm going to write my exam with a dog here. Because if I put him in the crate and go in the basement, he barks. It's just like life has changed and life has evolved. And, obviously having a dog is something we've always wanted. And so I'm so happy and grateful that, we're able to do that. And, we've wanted a Frenchie for so long and, it just like life feels good right now. Like I feel content in where I'm at, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's awesome, and it looks so different for everyone, right? Like,
Yeah.
if that's where you find yourself, it's like, hey, that's 100% like,
I just can't
wherever you find
imagine
yourself.
going back to, well, okay, so a part of me can imagine going back to on-floor nursing, like provided that the case manager thing didn't work out, whatever happens, I would obviously have to go back to some sort of floor nursing. But I just don't, Joe, honestly, I think back to the time where I worked on the floor and I worked a full-time day position. And I'm a morning person. I jump out of bed. I'm good to go. I work out in the morning. I'm a morning person through and through,
Oh,
type A. And so
you work
this,
out in the morning?
yeah, always.
Oh man, that's tough.
And I'm type A. I'm a morning person. I want to get shit done. I want to like get my day going. Like 7 a.m. rolls around, I'm out of bed, like I'm going. But I think about how burnt out I was. And I think a part of that is obviously contributed to COVID, but also, Joe, prior to that, working as a healthcare aide in retirement home, I was still burnt out. And it's like, do I really want to go back to that role when I've gained all of these other management skills? Like, not really. Like I don't want to
Yeah,
say that my job is cushy in any way, but it comes with its own struggles. But and managing people is quite difficult. But in terms of the physical aspect of it, um, yeah, I can't even fathom getting up and being on the floor for 7 a.m. and working till 3 and working like 4 to 5 days a week. Like I was so burnt out.
honestly, Leanne, I did a day shift, I did an evening shift, and after my evening shift, I was fucking zonked because you like,
Yeah.
man, it's almost like when you start a workout program and like for the first couple weeks of your workout program, you're super sore. People don't understand, like you're constantly on the floor, you're transferring people, you're running up and down, you're doing stuff, you're moving stuff, like it's
Yeah.
like fit like physically, like let alone like it is very mentally exhausting, but just the physical part. Like I got home yesterday, threw my feet up on the couch, and I felt like I was getting trained by someone who was 66 years old. And I was like, holy shit, like
Yeah,
this
I
person
know.
was running circles around me, right? Like you have to be very, very conditioned for it.
Right.
And like it gets there, right? Like you definitely, I think, Leanne, you could for sure go back to the floor and do it, but it is exhausting. Like it's a sacrifice. You have to be like willing and able to bust your ass. Like it's not like you just go to work and you do your like 1 2 3 ABC sort of thing, right? Like
Yeah.
you're actually actively doing stuff all day, and it's hard. Like it's
And you're
people who say like, oh, nurses, like, oh, whatever, like it's tough.
Yeah, and you're thinking. It's not just like ABC like you say. You're constantly using your brain. You're shifting your routine. You're constantly on alert, constantly assessing, constantly just present. And so, Joe, I would find that now if I had to do that, I couldn't come home at 3:30 and be present for my dog. I couldn't take him for a walk. There's no way that I could make dinner every night. Like I would just be a fucking zombie. I wouldn't be able to clean the house. I wouldn't be able to do any laundry. Like there's just like taking care of the house and the dog alone is like a full-time job throughout the day, and then on top of like your work, obviously, we work full-time jobs. Work too. Like when people have kids, I understand how they say it's a full-time job. Like I get that, you know?
Yeah,
And like taking care of a home is a full-time job. Like there's a lot that goes into, like maintaining a house and like
for sure.
cleanliness. And like I realize, I'm such a like clean freak, but a lot of it obviously comes from my own like my own doing. But like when I threw my back out last week, Joe, which I
Oh
wanted to talk
yeah.
about quickly. I know we're at like 32 minutes here, but I do want to touch on that quickly. Like I couldn't really do any housework, and like I would try to get up and like move my body a little bit, but it's tough. But I would lay in bed and I'd be like, I'm so useless. Like, babe, I need you to, I need you to hand me the remote or something, Like I was literally broken, and it's such an awful feeling. Um, my back, just to give a bit of background here. I remember
No pun intended.
I remember the exact moment that I threw my back out, and you're going to laugh because it's like nothing related to like anything strenuous. I was in, honestly, like 2012 business marketing class. I was in marketing research class, and we were sitting in Algonquin College, and I was sitting at my desk in a swivel chair. And when class ended, I grabbed my backpack and I stood up from my chair. And in that moment, I couldn't stand up straight. I had pinched something, I had moved something, I had torn something. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I couldn't stand up straight.
Holy shit.
And the reason I remember this, Joe, is because I walked all the way from the ACE building. I don't know if anybody knows where the ACE building is.
Was Ace still
Um,
around? Like it must have been an older version of Ace, or was it
uh,
just built?
no, it was just built. And
Okay.
so I walked from the Ace building over the bridge over Woodruff Avenue, literally hunched over. Like, I'm not kidding, like a 90-degree angle, dragging my school bag on the floor all the way to the main entrance, which is in the B building. And I sat at the front on the steps and I bawled my eyes out and I called my dad, and my dad came and picked me up. And it was so fucking
Sorry, I'm not
embarrassing.
laughing.
It was so embarrassing. And I don't even know what I did. I just stood up wrong. I don't know, man. Like, at this time, I was 19 years old, 18, 18.
Holy shit.
And ever since, every few months, I throw my back out. And so this time, I went to the gym. Oh, sorry. This time in the morning when I went out to start Ben's car before he leaves for work, I slipped on the ice out front. Now, I didn't fall, but I did one of those like, oh shit, and you catch yourself, which is almost worse than like a full fall, because then I could feel like the tensing of my
Oh
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's
I'm
almost
like,
easier if you just like let it go and then you're
right,
just like not tense up and stuff.
right. So then I I was fine, like little twinge. I'm like, whatever, go to the gym, have a good stretch, walk on the treadmill, like just take it slow. That day at the gym was supposed to be my shoulder day. And so I get to the gym and I'm like, nah, man, like I got the energy to do legs. And this was my mistake. Because,
Oh
yeah,
no.
yeah. Dummy. Like I'm a big dummy, honestly. I did it to myself. I wasn't in pain though. That's the thing. Like, I wouldn't have done it if I was in pain, but knowing that I had kind of twinched it in the morning
Yeah.
put me in an awkward spot. But I'm here, I'm at the gym. I'm like, yo, I got the energy. Let's hustle. Let's do it. Let's kill this leg day. Well, am I not doing lunges and totally throw my back out? And so I'm in the gym.
With the lunges.
Yeah. I'm in the gym and I can feel it. And I'm still sort of standing up straight. The only way I can explain this is that it feels like my lower back is arching forward and I can't straighten out. So I look like I'm standing straight, but my lower back has this awful pull to it. So that was at the gym. So I go over to the mat and I lay down. I lay flat on the mat, the stretching mats, and I just lay there. And I stretch my legs slowly. And I'm stretching, and I'm like, okay, like we gotta go. Like we cannot continue this workout. But I thought about it. I was like, yo, let's just push through. No. So yeah, basically I come home and my back is like totally fucked. And it took 3 to 4 days of laying on a heating pad and taking like Tylenol, Advil, all of the things, and just relaxing for it to finally relax. And so what I've realized is that my quads and hamstrings are so tight that they're pulling on my lower back. Because I've also realized that when I stretch my quads, the pain comes back. When I do foam rolling, the pain comes back. So if I foam roll my quads or like any part of my upper leg, or my butt or my thigh or my hips in any way, foam roll, my back will be sore for the next 3 to 4 days and I can't stand up.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I've always been
Brutal.
someone that stretches, which is pretty crazy, but I do a lot of like hip stretching. I don't typically stretch my quads. It's just, I don't know. I just don't. But when I do, I notice that I get this back pain. So basically, moral of the story, almost 29 here and felt like a 75-year-old lady. And it's awful because it puts into perspective though, Joe, like if I didn't have the ability to move, like a lot of our residents or clients, like this is how they feel, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for real.
And it's awful.
It's tough, man. Like musculoskeletal problems, the littlest thing. It's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard to do anything. It's hard to even sit down and focus on something.
right. Yeah, it totally consumes you. And I was almost like, I almost felt exhausted from the pain because I couldn't relax. Um, so anyway, I see a chiro. I'm debating on massage. The only thing with massage is that I worry that, I'm going to get a massage and I'm going to be sore for 4 days. Well, I can't really afford to take 4 days again right now.
You know
You know what I
what?
mean?
Leanne, I found a way around that, and I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Like the soreness?
Yeah, because I had the same thing, and I told the massage lady that I'm like, man, because I love going to get massage, and I love them like beat me up pretty much, like go as hard as they can and just like get all the knots out. Um, and I asked her, I was like, man, but I'm always sore like for a week after. I do like, and you're not supposed to do this. I think it's only supposed to be like 2 or 3, but I do like 6 to 7 cups of an Epsom salt bath, and it like literally you feel like it makes you like dizzy almost, like you're so freaking relaxed in it. But you do a hot like 7 cup, like you overdose yourself on Epsom salts, and the
Yeah.
next day you feel beautiful though. Like your muscles are so relaxed.
Yeah. I wish my gym had like a sauna
Oh, that'd be
because I
sick.
would totally use that. I know Good Life does, but the gym I go to doesn't. They have tanning beds, which are so fucking bad for you. Like, I don't even know why that's a
Oh, did you go
thing.
to Fit for Less?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they love their tanning beds.
why, dude? It's so bad for you. Don't fucking tan. Wear sunscreen. Like,
Straight up.
God, it
Oh
makes me
man, yeah,
angry.
we went to the Dominican and we didn't get a suntan at all because it's like just being in the healthcare field, like you know how bad the sun is for you sometimes, right? And like we were
Yeah.
like every single day, like every couple hours, and like if we went in the water and we came out, like just sunscreen, because
Yeah.
I get it. Like, and do you know what the funny thing is? You still tan. Like if you stay outside for a while with sunscreen on, but you're just not getting all of like the sun at once. And that's so bad. It's almost like if you were like eat a whole jar of cookies at once.
Oh man,
Like have one or two at a time.
people put on like baby lotion and you're essentially like it's a sunburn. It's a burn. Like to suntan,
Yeah.
you're burning your skin. Anyway, this is like a whole episode that we should talk about. Um, but like I just can't understand why the gyms haven't transitioned to like a sauna or I guess they have showers. Like you could have a hot shower, but I just come home and have a hot shower.
So I got this gym membership, Leanne. It's called the Saskatoon Fieldhouse, and it's like they have like the gym is like on like this like upper balcony, and it's like sick. It's pretty sweet,
Cool.
and it's this whole like track and stuff. But I went at 10 a.m. The other morning because I was working evenings, and I didn't. They have like an elderly program, and it was
Okay.
a time where like so I kid you not, there like the whole gym there was me. I was like the only one underneath the age of 65, and it was like hundreds of people, which is actually pretty awesome because they encourage people who are like elderly and retired to come out in the mornings and they walk around the track and like they use the equipment, and it's kind of their time, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't get a lot of like the younger like dude bros and like stuff like that, right? Um, but there was a sauna, and I don't know why, but there's nothing that intimidates me more than old guys in a sauna. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
was so
yeah.
excited for the sauna, and those guys are sitting there like freaking. Half of them were naked, half of them had a towel on, but like their midsection is just hanging out, like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
And I was like, I'll use the sauna another day.
oh man, you should have used it.
No, I was like, no
This
way.
this is a part of the reason why I like going in the morning before work is because it's seniors and like there's a couple like gym rats, obviously, but it's not like the 4 p.m. rush or 7 p.m. rush where it's all gym rats and like you can't get any weights. No, like I want to chill with the old folks, have
Hell
a
yeah.
casual conversation with Miss Betty. Like that's the kind of gym environment that I want. Like I'm not afraid to go lift weights if there's like a bunch of guys. Like I don't give a fuck, but it's much easier when you can just do the exercises you want to do because your equipment's available, you know?
Of course, 100%.
Anyway, all this to say that I'm a 75-year-old lady and a 29-year-old.
Body.
Well, no, my body's 75. I don't know how you would word that, but basically I felt like I was 75 years old. Oh gosh, it was awful, but
Dude, we're hanging out with the residents too much. That's
it,
why.
oh my gosh, it's such an awful feeling when you can't move the way you want to move. So I took the week off the gym and then I went back, started yesterday. And
So
not doing leg day this week. I've decided I'm just going to walk on an incline, take it real slow this week, and then sort of get back into it. But yeah, just awful. But
it's brutal. That
anyway,
same thing happened to me too. Like I did leg day, a really, really heavy one, and I was actually feeling great until the next day it hit
yeah,
me. I
yeah,
thought it was like soreness, but it was like no, like I definitely pulled something that I just wasn't paying attention to, and
yeah, right.
it's funny because it's the legs that get you. A lot of people say that like it's not even when they're doing like back day or like upper body, leg day.
I
It's because
love
it's all
upper body.
connected.
Damn, I love lifting weights so much.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
I just got
Anyway,
back into like the body, like the dude bro stuff because I was doing a lot of dynamic stuff.
yeah.
But I got this gym membership and I hit like shoulders yesterday. Man, it felt I haven't done a good shoulder pump in like
So
years,
good.
like before
So
nursing
good.
school, right?
Yeah.
Man, it's so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm with
sweet.
you. For sure. For sure. All right, man. I think that wraps up today. Guys, we are now live on YouTube. You can find us at the
Yeah.
Nurses with Attitude podcast on YouTube. I believe I
He
have,
sounds so unsure about that.
well, this is all new. Listen, we're very technologically advanced over here. I believe I have 20 episodes live, so this episode won't quite be live the time that it goes live on Spotify, but it will be up in the next couple of weeks. I'm working on it. 6 more episodes to go for YouTube, but as always, find us on Spotify. Don't forget to share this podcast. Find us on Instagram, nurses.with.attitude, and then on YouTube. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Bye, guys.